In the last 15 years, there have been thousands of accounts of alien encounters, abductions, and disappearances.
Okay, Billy Bob, I mean, this is nothing to get. We just need to get a bit about you, obviously, so we can add more credibility to this investigation.
My name's Billy Bob Billy Ray Jr. I'm from Texas, Tennessee.
That's great, Bill. And can you tell us a little about what you saw?
Well, there were these lights. You know, these lights? Luminous in the sky. It was like tinfoil. And then we were just going down in my truck. You know, my truck. And we were just out there, you know, hanging out, shooting some cans. And then there was these lights, so we thought we'd go and investigate these lights, and well, I don't really remember much after that, except that I went missing for a few.
So, Dr. Tim, could you tell us a little bit about the investigation that you'll be heading today?
Well, it's a little something down in Wisconsin. We've had some lights, some anomalies, some very interesting things, maybe even something about even an alien encounter. It's very exciting.
So, Dr. Twatson, do you have much experience in this field?
Yeah. I mean, I have a degree in astrophysics. I went to Harvard. You know, this isn't new to me. It's not an amateur ambition. Okay, I'm Dr. Tim Twatson. We spoke on the phone a couple of times. I just need you to, you know, introduce yourself, give us a little bit of an idea about what went on January 23rd.
I'm Ronald Prawn. I saw an entity, and not 4 feet away from me. About this high, couldn't come more than my shoulder.
You say an entity. I mean,
It was a person. It wasn't human.
I mean, we could run some tests. Could a skeptic convince...
I'm not lying. I know what I saw.
Well, what if what you saw could they've been flares? You know, army flares.
This was a person, not human.
Okay, so I've told you before. I've come down here. I'm from the UFO network. We do a lot of investigation into these kind of paranormal things, or whatever you want to call them.
It was an alien.
Okay, I told you before, I'm from the UFO network. We come down, we're gonna run some tests. We're gonna look into this in case, you know, clarify some things, because if you're in your right mind, I mean...
My right mind, I know what I saw. It was an alien.
You know, but more and more times we come across these cases, and there's flares, army flares.
Flares, it had legs and arms, it had these big red eyes.
I mean, the skeptics would say army flares are getting very civilized.
I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I don't believe it.
No, Ronald, can you cut, please?
So, Dr. Twatson, what happened back there?
I think what I find when I get these cases is there's a level of trauma, and if you know, I just trod on some sore toes, I think.
And personally, do you believe him?
I always have to you know, sit on the fence. It's what I do. It's how I'm able to do what I do. But gosh, I mean, there's overwhelming evidence to support his theory.
So if I were to push you, you'd say, personally, you believe him?
I couldn't say either way, really. Well, that's why we're here to find out.
So Ronald, a bit of confrontation back there.
I know, I got a bit heated. It says, it was no flare.
Is it frustrating for you when people don't believe you?
It is. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I don't know why.
Well, obviously we'd like to continue with the investigation.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm really looking forward to it.
absolutely. I mean, we've spoken to Dr. Twatson, and personally, I think he's on your side.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad. I'm glad.
I mean, what do you think about these flare accusations?
I don't believe it all. But flares, have you ever seen a flare look like a man?
Absolutely. Well, we'll investigate, obviously, every angle.
So, Billy Bob, we've spoke to someone else involved in the investigation. I don't know if you know him. He's called, Robert Prawn the Third.
Oh, we go back a long way.
Really?
I mean, we haven't spoken for a while after what happened. I mean, we both obviously were there. We experienced it. But you know, after people go through something like that together, it's hard to be around him. That's all I'll say. It's hard to be around him. It reminds me of what happened back there.
How much of that night, do you actually remember?
I get flashes. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's not. I don't really want to think about it, obviously. I want to do the investigation. Part of me wants to prove that Ronald's telling the truth because, you know, everybody does think he's crazy.
And, you know otherwise, right?
Excuse me?
You,
Billy Bob and
It's good to meet
Dr.
you.
Twatson.
It's good to meet you, Doctor.
Okay, right, I'm really, ecstatic that you're gonna partake in this. I mean, it's gonna open lots of doors for us at the MUFO.
Well, you know, I hope so.
So, I've met with the other man. We talked a bit about Robert Prawn the Third. That was an interesting meeting. I
Haven't seen him in a long time.
Well, that's another thing. We're hoping to get you guys together to collaborate each other's stories a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Is
yeah.
that gonna be awkward?
A little awkward, but you know, I think it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because you've got a time span missing, we really wanna look into that. I mean, I was wondering how you feel about hypnosis regression. I've got a friend. I mean, they're very skilled. They're in the FBI regressing for years and years. I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, you know.
you'd be comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean, for 4 years I've been trying to get back that couple of days of my life. It'd be great. Absolutely great.
That's just fascinating. I can't wait.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Twatson.
Okay, it's been 4 years, and the MUFO guys, and we've arranged this for these guys to get together. We got a Ronald Prawn, previously called Robert, I apologize, and we got a Billy Bob, so let's take a look at what happened.
It's good to see you again. It
It's good. It is good. I do admit.
Been a little childish, both of us.
Both
A little
of us.
bit. Yeah.
I'm glad it's back out in the open. I'm glad not the other one's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're the only people in the world that know each other ain't crazy, so
It's glad to know people starting to believe us again.
absolutely, absolutely.
Ron, Billy Bob, how important is it for you two that you've got together on this? We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Hopefully we'll go shooting cans together again, yeah!
I would like that. I would.
Well, I have to admit, there was a part of me that thought maybe the aliens were just after you. There's a bit of me a little reluctant to hang out with you again in case the entity was just after the both of our energies together. You
It was scary
understand.
time.
Absolutely.
So, Billy Bob, are you saying you saw this entity, too?
I wouldn't say saw, I would say felt.
And how
You knew it was there.
I mean, unfortunately, I lost a couple, you know,
We don't know where he was.
Absolutely, I lost the space and time. I saw the lights. I definitely saw the lights, like
You were-
tinfoil.
You were up in that spaceship.
I don't know if it had windows, but if it had a brick, I could tell you if it had a window.
Okay, so we've got two things lined up. Billy, obviously we've got the hypnosis that we've talked to you about. Ronald, I mean, how would you feel about taking a lie detector test? Not because we're questioning what you saw, just because, you know, the results on paper, I mean, it'll help so much
Well, I'm
more.
telling the truth. I know what I saw. Any test. Tell me any test. I'm not lying. We know what we saw.
Okay, Billy Bob, I'd like for you to describe what you can see. Alright, Billy Bob, I'd like for you to describe me what you can see.
Well, I'm in the woods, like I was them 4 years ago. And obviously, you know, the lights, I can see the lights.
Lights. Anything else?
Ronald, he didn't come back for me. Ronald didn't come back for me.
Is this Ronald Prawn?
Ronald Prawn the Third. Ronald Prawn the Third, yeah.
Where are you now?
Well, I'm in the light. There was no getting away from it. It's faster than you can run.
Can you see anything, or is it just the light?
Well, I feel like I'm being taken out of my own body, if that makes any sense. For a long time, I just see this bright light. It's like tinfoil.
Are you... Okay, Billy Bob, is there anyone else there with you? Can you see anyone?
Well, the lights sort of faded, and there were these shadowy figures. They stood over me. They had like giant sunglasses or big black bug eyes. And they just stared and stared.
Can you feel your body, or is it just your mind?
It's like they've done something to me. It's like I can't feel anything. I can't move. I can barely see.
Can you see anything in your surroundings to tell you that you actually are there?
Well, it's kind of very bright. It looks like a kitchen or some kind of IKEA.
Do the figures speak to you? Do they say anything to you? Do they touch you?
They seem to be communicating, but how I do not know. They are not talking to each other. They just know. They're dressed all in kind of space suits. It's kind of like giant bubbles. And they don't seem to want to do me any harm.
Okay, I'm Dr. Howard McLaugh. We're going to be asking you a series of questions now to establish what you saw on that night.
Well, that's fine with me.
Well, okay, I just need you to relax. Are you relaxed?
I am.
Okay. On January the 23rd, 4 years ago, could you tell me, just answer yes or no, did you see anything strange on that night?
Yes.
Did you see anything that you perceived to be from another
Yes.
Were you there with someone else?
Yes.
Was that someone else Billy Bob?
It was.
At any point in that night did you leave Billy Bob?
I did.
Okay. Did you go back to look for him?
I did.
And was he there?
He was gone.
Did you on that night see any kind of entity?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, was that from another planet?
It was.
Okay, I'm gonna just read off these graph results and I'll let you know. You did fantastic. This is gonna be really helpful, thank you.
After a series of analysing the lie detector results, we check back with Dr. Twatson to see what he has found. So, Dr. Twatson, is there anything interesting about the results that you have?
Yeah. Preliminary findings from both hypnosis and the lie detector test, as we call it. There's some very interesting results. I mean, for the most part, from hypnosis, you know, we got that Billy Bob, you know, he says he saw something and he believes he saw it. And with Ronald, he was telling the truth. What we don't need to know, which we need to talk about, is what made him leave Billy Bob. I mean, he answered yes, that he did leave him on that night, January 23rd. But we don't know why.
So they both believe that they are telling the truth, but that still doesn't figure out as to whether it was an alien form that they saw.
I mean, exactly. This is a problem, Mitch. This is what we come up against, and as scientists we have to figure out the middle ground rationally.
Absolutely. I mean, is there any more ideas to investigate so that we can actually work out what happened that night?
I mean, we phoned up the local newspapers, we phoned up army bases for tests. There's nothing out of the ordinary being reported that night other than what these two gentlemen said they saw. The scientific findings said we should be inclined to believe them, but
I mean, they definitely saw something from...
oh, not a doubt about it, they definitely saw something.
We just don't know what that might be.
And will we ever know, you know? It's just overwhelming.
There's still one thing that's bothering Dr. Twatson about this particular investigation. We know that the Billy Bob and Ronald Prawn were telling the truth, that they did see something, but now it appears that Ronald Prawn the Third bolted on his good friend and ally. And Dr. Twatson wants to know why.
Okay, we're just coming to the close of the investigation.
I farted.
Okay, there's one thing that is bothering me and the other guys in the investigation team. We told you your test came back
Yep, I was glad to hear it. I was so glad.
except one question, Ronald. You answered that you went back to look for Billy Bob and
Well, I did. I went back and looked, but
the test would say
well, that test is a lie.
the test is a lie.
That's what I would
Could
say.
you tell us, I mean, just so we can understand a little bit why'd you leave it?
We saw that big lad. And big lad, me and Bill Bob were scared. We were scared, and then this laser beam came out, and it got him right straight on in the chest. And after that, I bolted. I looked around and I bolted for it. Have you ever seen a laser beam come from an alien spaceship?
I've seen a lot of stuff, you know. I've seen a lot of stuff.
Well, you would have been pretty scared too, but I bolted for it.
Did you go back and look for him? You didn't, did you? The test said you didn't.
Well, it was because I was having my own alien encounter, that's why.
So now you're saying that you didn't. I guess, can't really count on your friends in Wisconsin.
It's clear to me these guys, they've known each other a very long time. I mean, you can just, the mannerisms, they go way back. Why? Why did Ronald Prawn the Third leave Billy Bob? I mean, it just doesn't seem to add up. I mean, just before this was filmed, I mean, Billy Bob was told, and you know, we got his first confrontation. He was gonna hit him right between the eyes with it. Okay, so Billy Bob, I mean, Ron, if I can call you Ron.
That's fine.
You know, he bolted on you. I mean,
I always knew. That's one of the reasons why, you know, we didn't talk for quite a while.
He knew I was scared.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't come back here so we could start this tiff all over again, no matter what Dr. Spectacles thinks about it.
you mean me? Well,
Yeah!
so, it doesn't bother you then that your friend abandoned you at his time of crisis? I mean, look at him. Does you see any apology in those eyes? Or
He knew
just-
that I was scared. I didn't need to apologize.
I've made my peace with it. I mean, I knew. At least he's finally admitting it. I mean,
I mean,
come on.
didn't you think, Ron, didn't you think your friend would be scared at that time when you bolted?
I just saw that laser beam and I ran for it.
And not long after this, Billy Bob, if you'd mind me saying on the record, some of your antique Coke cans went missing.
That's got nothing to do with it.
They did? I mean, I was gone for 2 days.
I mean,
What happened to my cans?
I don't know what he's on about.
What happened to my cans?
well, obviously, you know, we're gonna leave these guys to it now. I mean,
It's already
All
enough.
us-
My cans?
There's nothing about the cans. We're about the alien investigation.
if you
Yeah,
want to look in the
yeah.
back of his truck, you're gonna see some really nice cans. Okay, I understand this is, you know, it's not just put pressure on you at work. This has affected your personal life, Billy Bob. Could you, I mean, you had nothing to gain from this, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, why would I make something up? My wife left me. She took all my cans. I don't barely see my kids anymore. I mean, you know, it's really hard for me to talk about.
Yeah.
I lost my job. I lost my family.
Do you mind me asking what your job was?
I really miss my job, you know. I mean, it's not. Basically, I used to collect metal and sell it on. I scrap metal, ironmonger, Iron Man. But all the kids in the village, they kept stealing my metal, and also I found it a bit strange to work with metal after what happened.
I mean, why was that?
Strange things used to happen. I mean, electricity, weird about me. I mean, my TV used to go all fuzzy. The toaster, could never use the toaster ever again. Silly things like that. Sometimes I would attract metal, sometimes I would,
You're saying you were like a human magnet?
in a way, I mean, sometimes I would repel it.
So if you attracted metal, what was the problem? Why couldn't you find this metal that the children hidden from you?
Well, I started repelling it more and more.
Well, thank you for your time. I mean, I hope things get better and, you know, metal stops sliding away from you.
What can I do? I can't even shoot my cans anymore.
Okay, I mean, we're gonna get you back one last time to have a little talk with Ronald Prawn the Third. I mean, but thanks. I mean, this has been really great. I hope things get better for you soon. Hey, Ron, could you tell us a little bit about how your life's been since? I mean, what effect it's had on you?
It all went downhill after.
In what respect? I mean, how was work?
I had my own mechanic shop.
Mechanic shop,
Yeah, all my customers, I lost all my customers. They all thought I was crazy.
God, that must have been real tough.
It was.
What about family life? Have you found it difficult there?
Well, both my wives left me.
God, double blow, huh?
He wishes. Double blow.
Have you had any injuries? I mean, I see you've been nursing a wound there. It looks like some kind of burn off hot metal. I mean, what is that? Microwave plate or something more sinister?
No, I just scratched myself with one of my cans earlier.
What kind of can, Rod?
Just my shooting cans,
Coke cans?
maybe. I haven't been able to go back to those woods since. Ever since I saw that little man.
Do you think you and Billy will, stay in touch now?
Yeah, we will. Most definitely.
Well, thanks for investigations. I mean, we're just gonna get Billy in here now. I mean, you two have been really helpful.
It's
Good to see you again, man.
You've been working out?
So, thanks, guys. I mean, you really helped.
And you've helped us.
You seem like you've got real close. I mean, not missing those 3 wives anymore.
4 years without you, I mean, it was hell. So good to be back together.